National Board Certification Master Coach, working with you today on C4. Oh, how I love C4. I love C4 because it's so much like the renewal process, and the renewal process is where I've spent the majority of my coaching for the past 14 years. Now, inside of the initial world, most of you are saying, C4, Tracey, you're crazy. You can't love C4. I can't even wrap my mind around C4. Well, it took me a little while to wrap my mind to, I will say that. But I hope today the visuals that I give you and the way I help you talk through C4 will really solidify for you how easy it is to truly think about and plan for C4. And the hardest part of it is really going to be putting your PDFs together and trying to manage all of the uploads that you have to put into the system for submission. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my document camera screen for you. And the first thing that I want to talk about is this great big triangle. I look at C4 from the lens of a triangle. If you've seen my C3 video, you heard me talking about candy corn. That's my upside down triangle. I really do love to talk about food. This one, I guess we can talk about pizza. That's good. I love to eat pizza. All right, so at the top of the triangle, the way I see it is I see the group profile and the unit. I see that as the pieces at the top. So that's one corner of your triangle or your piece of pizza. And this bottom corner I see as your PLN, which is your professional learning need. And at the other side, I see the SLN, which is your student learning need. Now, here's the kicker in this. Gosh, I drew that so big you all can't even see the whole thing. Group, profile, and unit, PLN, professional learning need, and student learning need. They do not have to relate to one another. They can be explicitly different from one another, or they can all relate to each other. I love that, don't you? You're just like in charge of this component. This is an amazing part of it. I will tell you that most candidates that I work with, all three of them are extremely different. They don't put them together and mesh them. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. I love nothing more than seeing creative teachers try to figure out how to match all corners of this triangle. That's great. All right, now at the center of what matters here with your SLN, meaning student learning need, and your PLN is collaboration. Collaboration is crucial. We have to know that you have gone outside of the walls of your classroom. We need to know that your work extends into the school community, the grade level community, the community outside of your school, so the community that your students live in, which of course would encompass the parents, the families, the guardians, the caregivers. So collaboration is so important. Also at that district level or that state level, collaboration is really important and you have to prove it. So don't forget that bridge or that glue that kind of holds the PLN and the SLN together. Either they can match and work together or separate. Doesn't matter. They both must have collaboration shown. That's really, really important. Now, also over here, collaboration is going to be important for your profile, your group profile as well. It's going to be really important that you've collaborated with others outside of the walls of your classroom. Last year's teacher, the teacher before that, the school nurse, the guidance counselor, the mental health counselors, the gifted and talented teachers, the ELL teachers, the parents, the guardians. Oh, I mean, the list goes on. So when it comes to that group profile and in figuring out, who is this that I'm dealing with? Who are these kids? And then ultimately, what unit of study will I do to meet the needs of those students that I've found through my what? Collaboration with all of those people it's really, really important that those two are intertwined. So as you can see, a foundation of C4 is collaboration. That's really, really, really important, that when you look at two sides of this triangle, you see collaboration. Now, the third side of the triangle is what we call, well, I affectionately call it FA, formative assessment, SSA, which is student self-assessment, and SA, which is summative assessment. So the other pinnacle here that, and that, you know, wall that holds up C4 for you is assessment. All of this is assessment. And you've got to show us how you utilize that assessment, working from figuring out the needs in the what? Group profile, the needs. Oh gosh, I almost spelled needs wrong. Gracious goodness. That is your professional learning need, and then the student needs. So really, really important. Let's review in C4 are that you lead with needs. Everybody say it. Lead with needs. Needs are crucial in C4. And once you figure out your needs, at the beginning, you collaborate to figure out needs up here. Then you collaborate at the bottom of the triangle to meet the needs. Again, goes back to what happens in renewal. I just love that. And then over here, the assessment drives the instruction. In the world of National Board, we know that assessment drives instruction. So the assessment is driving the instruction down from the needs that you saw the kids had. You've developed the unit. Now you're getting formative assessment. You're self-assessing the kids intermittently between the formative and the summative. And at the end, you're giving that summative assessment. The biggest thing in the world that is hard for teachers is figuring out how to take this formative assessment and the summative assessment and show growth, because you need to show growth on the skills between the formative and the summative. So that's a really hard part. And inside of the coaching that I do, that's really a big thing that I go over with teachers. So that is what we look at when we think of the 4 as a whole, except for that it's loads and loads and loads of evidence that you have to put together. And again, that's another really fun thing to try and creatively figure out how to put all the evidence together so that you are showcasing your depth and breadth of collaboration, your depth and breadth of using assessment structures in your classroom, and that you are really facilitating and showcasing the needs and how those needs were met. So C4, just a beast of a component, but a fun one if you really can understand the triangle. Now let's look at the other piece to it. The other piece to it is understanding the PLNs and the SLNs, because we really talked about that group profile and stuff at the top. So what does this look like? Well, in the middle, you've got to find your PLN and you've got to find your SLN. But then here on this rung, we need to know, who did you collaborate with? Who did you collaborate with? So on that first rung, we need collaboration. As I said on the triangle, who did you collaborate with? So you can get your paper and you can start trying to figure this out yourself too. And then what did you learn from that collaboration? What did you learn? Okay, but you got to get that need in the middle first, right? What did you learn? Oh no, I've made a mistake here, but yeah, don't judge me, please. What did you learn? What did you learn? Goes here. Okay, so you've developed the need, and then you're collaborating with people to meet that need, because this is all about meeting the needs. Meeting the needs. That's what this collaboration over here on PLN and SLN is about. Over on the group profile, it's trying to figure out what are the needs. What are the needs? Who do you collaborate with? What did you learn? And then ultimately, the most important, 100%, do not forget it, is student impact. How were the students impacted by your collaboration and then what you did from that learning that you did? That is crucial. You're trying to show us student impact on that. So again, that goes back to your triangle. Here's your triangle. Let's put in the ultimate goal here, student impact on all three sides of this triangle. Student impact and student impact here. So it really could be right in the middle of the triangle. And so you show it to us through the menagerie of evidence that you put together. All right. Now, if you have other questions or needs around, let me set my chair, other questions or needs around the component 4, I am working on developing some programs that you'll be able to use that include other templates and things such as this, visuals that help you to plan out what you're going to do and figure out how to put evidence together so that it's really strong and conveys that message in the end of collaboration and student impact toward the needs. So I look forward to seeing you over at TraceyBryantStuckey.com for lots of other resources that I have available for you.